Nice. Hey team, welcome back to Dukes on Twitch. Back today with a Legacy Green-White Depths League. We of course aren't playing the challenge. I was going to play the challenge last night, but it did not fire. So I thought we'd play some Depths this morning. This deck has been a lot of fun to play over the past months. It's been really well positioned. It did okay at the leaving a Legacy pit open. Sorry, at the pit open, but yeah, I've been really enjoying it. I think it's got some really nice advantages over Maverick right now, especially with the combo of Dark Depths and Thespian Stage, which is the big one. Hey Lee, welcome. Not too many changes. I do want to try out Curse of Silence. I think this deck is quite good against some of the decks that Green-White Depths does struggle against. Namesake decks like Doomsday, Sneak and Show. So I did want to play a 3-3 split of Curse and Deafening Silence just because the combo matchup is one of our weakest, but I also wanted to try out some other cards. Torpor Orb is a big one as well for things like Death and Taxes, especially the Yorion version. It's okay against Doomsday. Any sort of deck where they're playing a lot of creatures for value, I like it. It isn't the best against Uro decks, which is tough because they're usually playing things like Endurance and Ice Fang, but I think there I'm pretty happy not to bring in the Torpor Orbs. I've also played against Allurin a lot recently, so that should be hopefully pretty good in that position there as well. I'm playing Torpor Orb over one of the white creatures with the Torpor Orb effect, because Torpor Orb can't be hit by Swords to Plowshares, which is pretty big, so I do like that. Hey Red, very cool to hear you've nearly finished Green-White Depths. That's very, very cool. And hello to the Jambulance. I guess the cards that I'm looking at that I want to try out in this version are Maze of Ith, which has popped up every now and then, but I do think it's pretty good against the blue-red decks. It's really good at just buying time as well. And with Yavimaya in the deck, it's also nice that Maze can tap for mana. It also allows us to do things like be aggressive with another Reliquary, and then at the end of combat, untap the Knight with Maze to then use its ability, which is really nice. So that's pretty cool. I would like to get to a stage where I'm playing 4 Mox, but I can definitely understand the reasoning why Green-White only plays 3. It's not as explosive as decks like Turbo Depth, so you're not really needing the fast mana. And it's obviously a pretty rough top deck in most cases. But it's also very good in the sort of lands or Knight matchups, the Mox starts, especially the starts with Sylvan Library. I think that's probably the best start that this deck can have is Mox into land into Sylvan Library to really try to recoup that card disadvantage from Mox Diamond, and also gain some cards from Sylvan Library before a Prismatic Ending comes into play, because Prismatic Ending is definitely a really nice answer now for the control decks to take out Sylvan Libraries, so that should be pretty interesting. Yes, deck plays a few lands. Let's have a quick look. I was running up to 30 at one point, but did want to cut back. 29 in total. So definitely getting up there. Hey Soz, from Seattle, very cool. I know that Seattle has a very good Legacy community, and I know that Mr. Lee does some commentary for the Mox Boarding House Legacy Nights, which is very cool to see. 29 plus 3 Moxes, that's very correct, yeah. So a fair few when it comes to, I guess Maze isn't really a land. I would definitely count this as a spell, but now with Yavimaya, it does, count for somewhat, maybe a 0.5, but yeah, very cool. The other card that I wanted to see in the main deck was Endurance. I tried to fit 2, but at the same time in game 1, I really just want to be on the Depths plan. So I couldn't really find a way to cut a card for the second Endurance, and I'm pretty happy to have 2 on the board. I kind of feel like when I really need Endurance from a graveyard strategy, we do have Crop Rotation or Reclaimer into Bojuka Bog, which kind of takes that slot of a second piece of interaction for the graveyard. And also I'm a big fan of game 1 just being all in on the combo, and then game 2 maybe diluting that a little bit by bringing in some sort of hate for other decks. And it's a big reason why I haven't been trying out the Urza's Saga decks too much, or the Urza's Saga version of these decks. Obviously very good, they put up performances, but I do like that this kind of version just plays right into the Duck Depths combo or the backup plan of just a mid-range plan with Reclaimer and Knight. Instead of putting time and effort into Saga, getting it online, making constructs, which is pretty good, I won't lie, but just not for me at this current point in time. I haven't tried Outland Liberator in this deck yet. I do really like it in this version over Night of the Reliquary because of the Torpor Orbs on the board against decks like Death and Taxes, where I want both of those. I think it's pretty good. I'll definitely be trying it in person. It was just hard to find a slot because in the board, I really like Collector Oof, which is kind of like a haymaker against those Urza decks, at least the Echo Urza decks, and also any sort of LED decks. And then Force of Vigor is just so nice as a way to really make sure I can be a little bit unfair, especially on the draw against some decks where I want that sort of effect. So I do think that Liberator is pretty fantastic and it's great value as well. So I think it could be in here at somewhere, but I'm just not too sure where. There could definitely be probably a world where you don't play Prismatic Ending in the main deck and instead have 2 more Green Sun bullets, like another Endurance and a Outland Liberator, and then have the endings in the board for the matchups where you actually need them. That would be pretty cool. Yeah, it's a really cool grindy deck. It is really cool. And it's cool to see different versions of the deck doing well as well. You could splash black for Plague Engineers. You could play Urza's Saga. Bear with 2 guns. You could play Titan, I assume. Yeah, Chasm is mainly there for just some of the outlying decks. I do like having something for the creature decks. It was going to be either Chasm or Tabernacle. There's been a little bit of Elves around. It's not too bad against some of the more go-wide strategies. But yeah, it's kind of just one of those cards that I'm happy to have as a sideboard slot because it's just so good against things like Hogak or Madness decks, which is also pretty interesting. Tracker or Saga would be gas. I was going to try to fit in Felidar Retreat, which is this card over here, which is definitely interesting. I know that some people play Field of the Dead, but I've never really got to the stage where I've been able to get Field online in a way that I like it. Felidar Retreat comes down as a 4 CMC enchantment, which is great to play around Prismatic Ending a little bit. I know there's also a commander card that's come out that's a green enchantment that's a 5-drop, which makes it even harder for these sort of 4-color decks to deal with. And also doesn't rely on land drops. I believe it just relies on the amount of counters you have, which is pretty cool. So that's definitely pretty interesting, but I do like that Felidar Retreat is a 4-drop, a little bit easier to get down, which is cool. What's the enchantment? I believe it, let's have a quick look because it starts with Commander Green Enchantment. I'm just going to search that. Am I going to find it? Paradox Zone. There we go. Let's just put it up here. Which is pretty interesting. I don't like that it's a 5-drop, but Paradox Zone, 4 and a green enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, it comes in with a growth counter on it. At the beginning of your end step, double the number of growth counters on Paradox Zone. Then create a 0/0 green and blue fractal creature token. Put X plus and plus one counters on it when X is number of growth counters on Paradox Zone. So it's pretty cool because if the zone leaves the field, you still keep your tokens. They don't lose their counters. The one reason that I really like Felidar Retreat is for some of the matchups where I might want different types of creatures. So obviously this deck has all green creatures. So Felidar Retreat gives me just white creatures, which can be pretty interesting because it might make my opponents, Mother of Runes tap before combat to try to get through, or something like that. But yeah, this is pretty sweet. And of course, Felidar Retreat also giving my creatures vigilance as a choice is really good when a lot of them do tap for value. So that's pretty interesting there. Yeah, no Urza Saga, as I just went through. Really wanted to just kind of churn in on the main combo of the deck and not take the time to put into Saga when I could be putting it into the Duck Depths combo. And then the other question was, is the value to the Snow-Covered Forest. I really like Snow-Covered Forest because it might make my opponent think about Icewind Quaddle. That is pretty much it. It also might make my opponent think that I'm on a field version, which I'm more than happy to do. It's kind of a small one, which is, yeah, it was definitely there for the field, but I'm pretty happy leaving it in there. Yeah, I think Paradox Zone is just there for the matchups where it's really hard to beat. The big thing is, though, Teferi still bounces both enchantments, which is why Field has a little bit of an advantage there, but it's definitely tough. There's also thoughts of like a 4-mana walker, like a Rook. Could even play Nissa, which is pretty nice. Nissa is actually really interesting, and that's probably the last point I'll make before I get into a league. Oh, I don't have it. So Nissa Vital Force is a 5-mana walker that allows you to untap a land and make it a 5/5, which is really nice with Wasteland against the decks that have a lot of basics like Band Control. It really gives Wasteland a new role in the post-sideboard games, and allows you to apply pressure to your opponent with cards that they don't really want to trade with. So if they're spending a Source of Plowshares on your Wasteland when they have like 5 basics out, perfect. That's exactly where I want to be, so that's pretty cool. Also getting back pretty much anything from the deck is really nice with its neg 3, kind of Eternal Witness kind of vibe. But yeah. There's a reason for no Loam. The only reason that I'm not playing Loam is that I am playing Ramen Up Excavator, which if I play a Loam, I might see it, but if I play Ramen Up, I then have 5 virtual copies with Green Suns, which is really nice. The deck also doesn't have too much to get back from the graveyard other than lands. It's not playing Uro. It doesn't really, have a way to kind of generate much value from the graveyard outside of getting back the pieces. But I guess the deck's kind of set up to search your library more for these pieces than your graveyard, which is interesting. All right, let's get into it. Let's see how this goes. I'm pretty keen to play some Magic. Let's go to... That's really weird. Not too sure why. Hopefully that sounds okay. Yeah, for some reason my OBS removed the sound from my headphones and my mic in that scene, which is really weird. Not too sure why. But we're here now. All right. I hope you're all doing well. Yeah, I did cut the extra depths. I was playing a split, but a lot of the time I feel like Green White Depths sets itself up really nicely that you can play around Wasteland a lot, and that's one of the main reasons you would be playing more than 2. There we go. Okay, sorry, I had the output and input mixed up. Hopefully that is better. Voice back, music there. Beautiful. Okay. Sorry, guys. Spanner in the works for sure. With the double swords hand, I definitely hope this is a creature matchup. Grove. Okay. A fetch land would be really nice. We're not going to find it. But against a Grove deck, I'm pretty happy to play a Mox out. And probably just get rid of the Snow-Covered Forest, because I do want the Flagstones in play for the Reclaimer. There's a world where I could wait for something like a fetch land or two before I play the Reclaimer, but the upside of being able to Flagstones the next turn is just a little bit too high. But a Grove start for a Grove deck is pretty slow. Unless it's something like a... Yeah, Wasteland against this Flagstones is pretty funny. Hey, Miles. How am I finding the Ragavan meta? I don't mind it. It can be pretty tough. I had a game in Paper the other night where I had triple sword in my opening hand and they were on a Ragavan deck and all three swords just didn't get there, which is really tough. But yeah, otherwise, yeah, it's okay. Definitely a slow start here. I think I'm pretty happy just passing with Crop Up. I could be really aggressive and try to take out the Grove, but pretty happy just to see what they do. And if they want to use the Wasteland on the Caracas, and we do have Crop to sack it too, which is nice. Yeah, I feel like I have a little bit of a biased opinion for Ragavan because I do play decks that usually are pretty good against it. This looks like a Valakut Exploration. This is going to be fine. Probably pretty happy here to get a Plains. I really want to take out this Grove. So I actually might just get a Plains here and then get a Wasteland. Taking them off green is pretty big, especially for a deck like Lands, which doesn't have that many options. Also playing around Crop Rotation is really nice. But yeah, Valakut Exploration is a really interesting card for lands because it's given it a kind of a second engine. A lot of players would assume that you have, Life and Loam and Exploration as the main one, but here it's yeah, really nice, of course, if you also have some sort of way to get out a lot of creatures. A lot of lands, sorry. Like Exploration. There's a world where I should have played the Sylvan Safekeeper, even just to keep getting damage in with this Maze on board. There's a Loam. Okay. I'm probably pretty happy to crop this. Just thinking if I want to do it now or not. There is a world where I just want to crop Savannah into Flagstones and then trade Flagstones with Reclaimer for Bog and another land. I'm going to do it here as well. Maze. Not really the land that I want. Savannah. Luckily they don't have up green, which means they can't cycle into Dredging Loam, which is really nice. But this is probably a setup where I wouldn't mind having a Saga in the deck, but at the same time they have multiple answers to it. I will play Maze. I will play Safekeeper. I can technically get through the Maze of Ith with Safekeeper, but definitely not the position I want to be in. Alright. Also, they're playing the version with Urza Saga, which makes sense. A lot of lands decks have adopted as a 3 to 4 of. Yeah, this is going to be really hard to get through, especially in the main deck. We do have Prismatic Ending as an out, but otherwise it's pretty tough. Knight's a pretty fantastic draw. Getting Shroud is pretty huge. We'll attack with both, put them to 16. I kind of want to get to a stage where I can start attacking with the Knight and playing around the Maze of Ith with Sylvan Safekeeper. And I need to do this before they find an Exploration, because Exploration with double Valakut Exploration is going to be a little bit too hard to deal with, especially if they have like a Field of the Dead in the deck, which I know that some lands versions have been pulling away from, just because it takes a little bit too long to set up. Hey Dread, I missed your Prime sub as well. A huge thank you. I hope you're doing well. Second Maze is pretty strong, let's be honest. Just gonna have a quick look at lands that I have that are relevant. Okay. Probably don't mind getting rid of the Maze here. I'm gonna get stage and see if it makes my opponent Wasteland or Ghost Quarter first. Ending is pretty nice, and I think Ending here is just going to try to take out this Retrofitted Foundry. As currently that's their way to really block the Knight. They also found a Loam, which is interesting. I can exile it if I find a Ramanap. I can Wasteland my own Bog and then replay it from the yard to get an extra ETB. I should have actually used the Savannah for the Prismatic Ending here, because I probably want to sack the Savannah to the Safekeeper to give Pro with Knight. I could have also done this before I attacked, so I don't have to use double 2 lands to give protection, because I can maze in response to me giving first. So that's just a little misplay. I should have definitely given a Shroud at the beginning of combat, or in my main phase 1. So if I sack 2 lands here, I can get through. Maybe that's enough. I don't think I'll be able to kill with Lage with both Ghost Quarter and Wasteland out. Could have definitely done this a little bit more tidily. Opponent could also crop for Bojuka Bog and bog me just to really slow down Knight. Which is maybe a reason why I should have kept the Bojuka Bog in play. Could have also attacked with the Sylvan Safekeeper. Just get that 1 extra damage in as well. Because, yeah, maybe I had lethal if I attack with everything. But if they have like a Glacial Chasm crop or a crop for Bog, it really slows things down. Hey, Loma Boy. Looking forward to our collab coming up. That should be pretty cool. Oh, they're from Seattle? Very cool. They're going to crop now. Interesting. What for? Too slow for field. Blast Zone. Okay. I guess Blast Zone's pretty good here. And I don't have a way of stopping them from ticking it up. The question here is, do I want to use anything? No. Hey Daryl, yeah, we definitely discussed that, and something that I should have thought about a little bit more was giving protection pre-combat so I could kind of get protection to save me from both mazes, which adds up, and I think here the double maze might just be too good. But the least I can do is look at a little bit more of that deck. But hey, Daryl, big fan. Could use stage here if I really wanted to, but really don't want an extra sword. An extra sword would be pretty killer. I sadly don't have a way to get back the Safekeeper either. Reclaimer. I guess going wide's always an option. They have a Saga in the bin. They still have Loam, so they're actually drawing here, which is interesting. Maybe trying to hit an Exploration. Well, there it is. Yeah. This is where I think, sadly, I just want to save some time, but... How has Curse of Silence been? Sadly, I've probably played about 5 leagues with it, and I've only brought it in, or at least seen it once against Show and Tell. Yeah. I think they're just gone a little bit too far, unfortunately. I do like the endurances and the forces. That's probably all I really want here. I don't mind taking out some amount of Swords to Plowshares. The Maze can most likely come out, but the Maze is also quite nice on my end if I'm attacking with Knight and then untapping it. Ramanap's great, Endurance is great. Safekeeper's fine, Crops are fine, Green Suns is great, Prismatic Ending is fantastic as a way to get rid of their artifacts or enchantments. I don't want to sideboard too much. I definitely feel favored in this matchup. If you want to actually have some look at have a look at some green white versus lands, I played against Ali before he went into the Mox qualifier, which is on YouTube. I played about 8 games, which is pretty cool. Maybe 4 no sideboard and then 4 sideboard, which is really enjoyable. I think Step could also come out, at least 1. I don't mind keeping 1 in case they try to like Punishing Fire an early Reclaimer. I might also just go down to 1 Swords, to be fair. Pretty nice hand. Mox into Sylvan Library, then we have Endurance up or Reclaimer. Probably pretty happy to go basic into Mox to play Sylvan Library, ditching the Wasteland. I really want to play the Reclaimer here as a 3/4, just to make sure it doesn't die to a Punishing Fire, because losing it there would be pretty bad. The one card that I'm really scared of with this hand is definitely Force of Vigor from their end. They've gone to 6. Alright, let's go for basic Snow-Covered, Mox, pitch the Wasteland, play Library, pass. No Force, that's pretty awesome. I guess they could still have an Owl upkeep. Mox from them, sure. Stage. Loam, okay. We do have Endurance, which is really nice here. And we can shuffle this away, hopefully. Okay, this is actually a great reason why Sylvan Library #1 is so good. You can shuffle away the others. There is a world where I don't mind keeping the extra one for Force of Vigor. Or if this one does get removed. So actually I'm going to keep this one. And then just go for a base. I'm going to go for a Savannah, just Endurance here. Target them and pass. Saga's fine. Another Loam. Okay. Force of Vigor here would be brutal. Another Crop. Okay. That's pretty interesting. I don't want to play Yavimaya because I don't want to give them access to multiple colors outside of the Mox. I'm probably okay spending a Crop on a land for Bojuka Bog. So maybe it's actually the Yavimaya that I just want to crop away. So I could potentially pay 8 here. And go down to 6. Maybe it's the Wasteland that I pull away. Yeah. Put on top to keep the second Crop. We can attack first. And then play Yav. Crop it away. Go and get Pachuca Bog. Target them. And then play another Reclaimer as a 3-4. And now we got a really nice clock going as well, which is nice. I could have also gone for Wasteland, but I think this is fine. I don't mind cropping here for a Wasteland. Come on, Force. Not there. But still not too bad. We get to cast Knight this turn, which is pretty nice. Now, if I Wasteland here, I don't play around Crop, but I think that's fine. They can make a 2/2. Sure. Ah, nice. That's pretty good. So we lose the Reclaimer and the Knight becomes a 2/2. Black mana for Prismatic is very nice. I guess we do get out the Mox as well, but having access to 3 mana here is pretty good. They could get like Pyrite Spellbomb if they still have it and kill the Knight here. Which is pretty tough. Endurance is just so good against this board. Really changed this game. I think if I could have potentially also dropped a Dark Depths and just gone down to 1 Dark Depths. They get map. Interesting. Maybe they're Punishing Fire here. Yeah. Rough. Happy to get Maze and set stop there. This allows me to play around Wasteland but still have a blocker for the Construct. And then I don't want to play the Library into this Blast Zone. Yeah, I think going down to 1 Dark Depths is more than fine. Yeah, it's an interesting one, Panda. Alright, we get to look 1 deeper here, which is nice. Even a fetch land would be really nice. Just get a new look at 6. Definitely don't want to draw the Yavimaya. They don't take a Blast Zone, interesting. There's even a world where I kind of had to pay 4 there just to dig 2 cards deeper. Knight. Probably even correct to pay 4 there as well, just to play the Mox and put a land in the bin to make the Knight a 3/3 instead of a 2/2, which is relevant against the fire in the deck. I probably also don't want to attack here. They make 2 3/3 constructs, I kill 1. I guess if I don't, then they untap, get another artifact with Urza Saga, making them 4/4s. So I think I actually want to attack here to maybe get a trade. Okay. Hey Juka, welcome. Not too bad. Definitely up against the wall. Yeah, I think here we just have to... Oh, they're Punishing Fire? Rough. And that's exactly why I should have kept the extra land for Mox. And now they can get Retrofitter off Urza Saga as well. Tough. Hey, Autonomy. There is a few different... If you search stream beats, you'll be able to find the music. Yeah. Not getting out of that. Should definitely have pulled the pin on the extra land for the Mox there. Tough. Definitely my error. But a good lesson. Definitely a good lesson. Alright. Let's bounce back. Alright, on the play, which is nice. And this hand is interesting. I don't mind it. We get to drop a Dark Depths to Flagstones, and then Green Sun's turn 1 for a Elvish Reclaimer, and then we have Flagstones for it. A little bit tough on mana, but I think it's going to be okay if the Reclaimer survives. Especially with Flagstones. But best draw is definitely a land the following turn, so we can play a land drop and then also just maybe hold up Swords and Reclaimer. Opponent goes to 6. Cast Mox, pitch Dark Depths, play Flagstones, Green Suns for 1. Hey Juice, thanks for the follow. Let me know where you're from. If you play Legacy, what you play in Legacy. Hey Duke, you played Legacy today in paper over webcam, very cool. Lost in the finals to Doomsday. I'm sure a lot of people have lost in the finals of Magic Tournament to Doomsday lately. Beating Jund Madness and Green White Knight, very cool. A Windswept Heath is exactly what I want to see with this hand. But I don't want to see a Sword Splash as. Ah, Prismatic Ending. Interesting. Okay. Maybe Maverick. Step. There's a world where I want to play the step so that a knight off the top of the deck is just live. Savannah into ending. Yavimaya. Okay. It's going to be the mirror. Interesting. They're going to green suns as well. Okay. USA and mostly elves. Very cool. Oh, you're playing DR2? D2R? Nice. Very, very cool. Doomsday is rough. I probably just want to swords the Reclaimer here, and then leave the other swords for another threat, not for Dryad Arbor. Opponent maybe with some connectivity issues. The mirror is always really interesting. I feel like the mirror always wins through just the mid-range plan rather than the combo plan because both sides have so many answers for Marit Lage. That making sure I can hold my swords for things like Elvish Reclaimer or Knight is just pretty huge because I only have 6 ways to deal with them in swords and prismatic endings outside of combat. Bajuka Bog's always a pretty cool card. You can like block with either a Knight or Reclaimer, and then before damage go and get a Bajuka Bog with either. Or if the Elvish Reclaimers are both like 3/4s, you can just block, and then after damage go for Bog so that they can't sort of remove Elvish Reclaimer in response. My opponent's clock is definitely going down. He was not having connection issues. He is drinking with a friend, so I am more than happy with that. Really want a threat here. A threat would be fine. Not what I want. Not what I want. But not too unhappy. One nice thing as well is that if my opponent has a prismatic ending for my Mox Diamond to take me off green mana, I can use Sylvan Safekeeper to sack the flagstones to go and get a Savannah. Opponent could attack here and still resemble the combo because Yavimaya allows Dark Depth to tap for mana. You could crop away the Savannah or the Dryad Arbor for Dark Depths, and then use Dark Depths Yavimaya to copy with Stage. Three cards for my opponent. Just a pass. Definitely makes me feel crop rotation vibes for the combo. Which isn't too bad. I guess then our best draw is probably just crop rotation, because then we can crop away the flagstones, go and get Karakas and a Savannah. Then we don't have to use a Swords to Plowshares on a 20/20. Which is pretty rough, especially here where we're both top decking. Somewhat. If they can gain 20 life and then play something like Sylvan Library, that's a big yikes. Nothing. Interesting. I wonder if they also have just a pretty removal heavy hand. They could also just be playing conservative, playing around crop into Wasteland or Caracas for their Lage. Could also be like extra copies of Yavimaya. They're not attacking with the Arbor, which is really interesting. Because I think they would be happy to trade the Arbor for the Safekeeper. Alright, Green Suns. Nice. That's what you get. That's what you get when you wear the shirt. Say Green Suns, it appears. And I think here... There's a world where I don't want to go for Knight of the Reliquary. Because then they can just combo off and win. So I think I might just use the Green Suns here for an Elvish Reclaimer. And tap like this so they can't like wasteland me off anything. They could also be waiting to like hold up crop into the combo and then also crop into step. Nothing. Interesting. They could have even done something like Thespian stage there, copy the forest to play around Wasteland, or like force us to Wasteland the stage there. Reclaim is really cool. Reclaim is probably one of the best printings for Legacy in the past like 5 years without being overpowered. It's just really good in the powers where it is. Interesting. Maybe opponent just drew a bunch of lands and didn't get there. Alright. I'm going to take out Depths. I'm going to bring in 2 Endurance. Force is interesting, but I think just having prismatic endings for the libraries is fine. But Sylvan Library is pretty big in this matchup, especially when it does go to these games where we're just playing a pretty mid-range strategy. I kind of like everything else. Could just be a Mox as well. I don't mind this. Play some pretty fair magic here. Yeah, maybe my opponent just felt like they couldn't deal with the Reclaimer and that was going to run away with the game, especially with the Flagstones. I mean, sack Flagstones, get Savannah and Flagstones, sack Flagstones, get something else. Pretty cool. Fair magic is life. Fair magic is life. Interesting hand. I don't mind it. Turn 1 Reclaimer into turn 2 Reclaimer. Could also save the Green Suns. The issue is that a lot of these cards, Caracas, Bog, and Step, I really want in the deck. But there's also some merit to having them in the opening hand. Step obviously a lot worse at sorcery speed. Bog not always worse at sorcery speed. Sometimes really nice just to have so you don't have to waste a crop rotation on it. Green Suns. Okay. Sure. Really want to find a removal spell for something like another Reliquary. Hey, Mining Man. 2 Steps. 2 Steps is really nice. I've been really enjoying 2 Step. Because usually in a lot of matchups, I want to use the first one to save a creature like Reclaimer, and the second one for the Marit Lage. So pretty happy with 2. Fetch land, okay. I guess here I could also play around Wasteland a little bit and just go like fetch land, Mox, pitch Savannah into Reclaimer. I don't mind that. I could also hold the Mox and just get a basic here. But I think potentially showing that we might have something like a crop rotation, I'm pretty happy to bluff that. Knight. Okay. Not going to use the fetch just yet. Oof. Beautiful. But do we have a way? We do have a way. We can play Caracas, and then we can go and fetch up something else. Nice. These come in taps, so I don't want to play them, so let's go for Caracas. Fetch for a... I'm just going to get a Savannah here. There is a world where I just want to get a basic and then throw the basic away later on, because at least Savannah I can get with a Flagstones. Yeah, this is fine. And the next turn, if we draw into a land, we can Green Suns for our own Knight, which is pretty sweet. Yeah, definitely wanted that removal for some time, so getting the ending there was really nice. I think that Swords would have been really good, because then we could still hold up 2 mana for the Reclaimer, but can't be unhappy here. Knight of Autumn, nice, takes out the Mox Diamond, and then Wasteland takes out the Caracas. Does make the Elvish Reclaimer a 3/4, which is interesting. Still pretty happy with this. They have to play a land and Green Suns for Ramanap. Unless they have Ramanap in hand. I'm not too worried about the Wasteland just yet in the bin. So I think I might just go with step into attack. Could also hold up Reclaimer. I actually don't mind hold up Reclaimer. And maybe go and get Flagstones. I could also Green Suns for another Elvish Reclaimer, which is interesting. I actually don't mind that. Get the beatdown going. Six a turn is definitely no joke. The fact that Reclaimer gets to be 4 toughness is what pushes it over the edge in playability. Yeah, being a 3/4 is huge, especially in this sort of metagame. Just a really nice card. They have their own safekeeper, that's going to be fine. They have 1 card left. I guess if it's Bojuka Bog, like a crop rotation for Bojuka Bog, we're in a bit of trouble, but otherwise we're pretty good. Oh, actually, I wonder if they have Endurance. Endurance would be really good here. And sadly, I can't really play around it. I could get Pro with 1 Reclaimer and then attack in. Which I actually don't mind. Then we can leave up Reclaimer. I actually like that. Step, Pro Green, attack, leave up 2 mana for other Reclaimer. Lands will blue-red current deck, it's more competitive. Oh, lands or this deck? Definitely both up there. Ooh, library. Okay, that's pretty strong. I would say they definitely compete on different axes, but lands is still really strong. Yeah, it's a tough one. I know that Ali, if you look at Ali on MTGO and on Twitter, definitely check him out because he's put out some recent content that's really good. Should have definitely played the step there first. Apologies, that's really bad. Just to get in the 3. They have 1 card in hand, surely. A little bit risky to attack here, but I'm happy to attack with 1. We still have 1 step in the deck. Should have definitely gone step, attack, library. Band Depths is cool. What do you play blue for? No blocks. Okay, nice. I assume Uro. I wonder if like Meddling Mage or like some sort of sideboard cards. Slogurk. What is Slogurk? Interesting. Ah, that card. Interesting. Very cool. I kind of don't want to waste either of these right now, but I do want to play a land. I'm happy to bog. Teferi plus Depths is really nice. Interesting. Just couldn't get there. Definitely take it. Teferi is very annoying. Slogurk can infinitely loop land drops in some of the green-white X lists. Interesting. You have my attention. So it's a 3/3 ooze trample. Whenever a land is put into the graveyard from anywhere, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Remove 3 of those +1/+1 counters and return it to its hand. When it leaves the battlefield, return up to 3 target lands from your graveyard to your hand. That's pretty sweet. I don't mind this. A little bit slow, but I'm pretty happy to keep. Mox Diamond's a pretty nice draw here as well, if we can get that. Flooded Strand, probably not the land that I want to see. Oh, Volk. Okay. Ponder's going to be fine. What do they do with the Ponder? Chose to not shuffle. Mox would be perfect here. They go Green Suns. I don't mind just Green Suns here for Dried Arbor. If they're destroyed, it also puts a land in the bin, which means with Windswept Heath, it makes the knight a 4/4 without using the crops. Also shadows us into like Elves or Maverick or a few different decks. And at least if they daze this, then they can't dash Ragavan if they're a Ragavan deck. Channel is okay. Holy heat. That's more than fine. They put a Wasteland in the bin, which is interesting. Sylvan Library. I don't mind Library to find the extra land next turn. If they want to daze the first one, that's more than fine. We have a second. Force, sure. Kind of hope it's Murktide. Cool. And a Delver, okay. No cards in my opponent's hand, which is really nice. They flip a Force, that's more than fine. They have one card in hand being Force. Oof, nice. I definitely want to do some things right now. So probably the worst draw that they could have, or the best draw they could have, is probably Wasteland for the Maze. But at least if they draw Wasteland and play Wasteland, they only have Force in hand and 3 cards. So that means we could even do something like Crop into Savannah. I think Delver's definitely the worst threat they have. But I'm in a world where I kind of just want to Swords the Dragon Rage Channeler, Crop for... I think this is probably the best card they have right now, just because the Murktide's hit by Maze and also Crop into Swords. I think I like that. And then just crop this right now. Could get a Flagstones, but I do want green mana. So maybe I do want to play around Force here. Yeah, I think I do. This is fine. Nice. Endurance is pretty sweet. I don't mind holding up Endurance, like Crop into... Especially if they have Wasteland. Could also just Green Suns here for Dried Arbor. I like that, to get the shuffle. Oh, we've already used Dried Arbor. Tough. Come on, man. You know what? I wanted the shuffle. Obviously, haven't you met good players? They just want the shuffle. It's not about getting a creature. I take that all back. Not a good player. They're getting close to... interesting. Getting close to hardcasting force, so I just want to play probably knight here. Wow, it survives. That's huge. Nice. Yeah. A little bit too tough for them. Drawing double swords off that library was really nice, and knowing they had 3 lands, 1 force in hand, no cards otherwise, is pretty sweet. This is an interesting matchup where I kind of just like the chokes and the endurances. I don't like the libraries. I don't really like the moxes. I don't really like the safekeeper. I might keep 1 library. Maybe 2 mox. I could also bottom the Caracas. No, Caracas is obviously pretty good against Ragavan. I think this is fine. Ramanav's good, Endurance is good. Swords. Crop's a meh, but I feel like Crop is better than anything here. Chasm's also interesting as a way to buy time. Because I believe it's when Ragavan deals damage. Really, they really need to find a wasteland for this. Yeah, I think I could definitely take out the Crops. The one reason that I do like Crop is just Flagstones gives us some level of play, because the blowouts of 2-for-1s aren't the biggest. But I could definitely see it. I also really like Crop into like Caracas or Maze. But I could see like a drop in Crop. Maybe bring back the Orb, which allows us to kind of play around days for the rest of the game, which is nice. Maybe something like this. Double Crop, one Chasm. Mox also means we can play a turn 1 sword around days, which is pretty huge. This is a negative. A little bit too heavy. Another awkward one, because it just doesn't have any real answers to something like a turn 1 Ragavan, outside of, like, Dryad Arbor. See what my opponent does. They melt to 6 as well. Okay. I'm actually going to keep this. And I'm going to bottom the Yav. I think it's the Yav. Maybe not. Maybe it's the Savannah. Because we have Yavimaya and Plains, I think it's the Savannah that I want to drop here. Yeah, library's always pretty tricky, but I do like that in these kind of games. I love that they play a Delver, and I'm really happy to see that. I think here I'm actually happy just to Wasteland them if they've started on Delver. Yeah, especially double Wasteland start here. Also stops dash, which is nice. But yeah, I don't mind the 1 library for when the games get really back and forth. And it just gets to that stage where you need to dig for something. Yeah, this Delverad is interesting. Channeler, okay. I think here I'm happy to play the Windswept and trade the Dryad Arbor for the Dragon Ridge Channeler if I can. Hey Vic, welcome. Hey Ben. Hope you're both well. No flip. Okay. Alright, 4 cards in hand. Surely they have removal, but I'm pretty happy to see if they don't. Oh, okay. I'm going to call this a pretty big win. Which sounds weird, seeing they have 2 lands and a Delver in play and we have nothing. Oh, especially if they have a Murktide here. 2/4/6. Would be a 4/4. How do you pronounce your name? Doogs. My real name is Dougal, which is like Google but with a D, and it's spelled a little bit differently. Ah, classic. I guess we play the Windswept player on Wasteland. Nice, Lemma Boy. Unholy Heat's pretty good. Rough. Just one of those hands where we just don't have the removal, but it seemed okay. I wasn't too unhappy, but sometimes you just get delvered. Pretty happy just to run back the same list. A hand with 1 swords would be really nice. Just to have some sort of play against their really creature heavy starts. I think Delver's best games against Grimoire Depths is probably the creature-based starts where they can go wide. Like there we saw Delver into Dragon Ridge Channeler, into Murktide, into Ragavan. Just bang, 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 bang. It is spelled. Nice one. There we go. I'll keep this. Nice, Ben. You got the spelling 100% correct. I'm pretty happy to go for basics here. So I think it's just going to be Snow-Covered Forest into Reclaimer. The only thing that doesn't achieve is a 3/4 Reclaimer on turn 2, which we can do if we draw another fetch land, which is pretty interesting. If we go fetch Savannah, and the next turn fetch, and then we have Reclaimer to sack a land as well, which puts 3 in the bin. But I think I think I'm okay like this. You Googled it? Haha, nice. Sure. Haha. Definitely an interesting one. If they have another removal spell, that's life. Okay. Savannah. Probably should have played the Savannah there instead of the Windswept Heath, just because Windswept Heath represents Dryad Arbor. I'm going to Swords in Response here. Just so they can't like force and then double Surveil. Plains is fine because we still have green here for Endurance. The question here is do I want to play around Wasteland? Or act like we're holding up removal? I think I'm better to act like we're holding up removal. Yeah, definitely a tough one. I think because I have the second stage, I'm happy to act like I'm holding up removal. And we just copy the forest, so we have double green. Iteration. Okay, now I'm pretty happy to do it, because they can't have a hasty threat. But yeah, maybe this was a game where I could have been a little bit more patient with my Reclaimers and made them 3/4s. Maybe that's the type of gameplay I should be playing against Blue-Red Delver, where if they don't have an early creature start, then making sure the Reclaimers are 3/4s before I play them is just so good, because then it's only Unholy Heat that really hits them. Crop Rotation, Dark Depths. I am just going to do this now as well. before they can like brainstorm into something. Oh, they have the days. Sure. Do I want to change anything? I don't think I do. Could definitely play Blast Zone, but just not in this build. But I have definitely played it before. Now this is an interesting one. I think I still just go for Dark Depths. I could bog them, but I feel like that's just like playing into nothing. Like that's assuming they do have Murktide. I'd rather just get Dark Depths and try to work towards my plan. And unfortunately can't do it right now. No Yavimaya. Ponder most likely just looking for Wasteland, maybe Caracas, so I could definitely see this Ponder being a shuffle based on targets being pretty small. Hit me for 6, I got a 12. If they play Murktide, they have lethal. Unless we untap. And they can't play Wasteland and Blue Source here, so they chose not to shuffle. Another Ponder. Really digging. Alright, you got it. Well, fool me once. I'm just going to make it now as well. Doesn't play around Brazen Borrower, but I can't really play around Brazen Borrower. Can't play around Caracas. Murktide's pretty good. I kind of need to find like a step to get through all this. Hey, Hoss. Oof. Thanks for the follow. Too kind. Interesting that now Dragon Ridge Channeler loses flying, because now Step just does it as pro blue. Oof. I guess I should have swords first to see how they would block. But I still feel okay about attacking here. Should have swords first. Yeah, I think I should have swords the Delver, put them at 20, and then made them block with the Murktide. Yeah, now it's actually a tough one. Because the Murktide I'm not too scared of. It is a 2-tone clock. But Dragon Ridge Channeler lets them dig for something like Caracas, or Brazen Borrower, or Submerge, some sort of answer to Marit Lage that they might have. Yeah, I think I just rushed that a little bit, and I probably should have main phase 1 swords the Delver, make them block with a Murktide, and then they're stuck with a 3/3. I do die to Bolt if I don't swords here either. I'm actually going to go after the Dragon Rage Channeler. Put them to 20. And then nearly make them have to have an answer for this. There's probably a world where I should have played the stage as well in case of double days. But I like that this puts me in a winning position. Where if they don't draw into something here, then they have to keep the Murktide back. But definitely wrong to not play the stage. Can't really show we're playing, you know, removal. We have removal in hand, which is the basic forest. All right. Nice. Cool. Definitely feels good. Opponent obviously brainstorm locked themselves as well and just didn't have an out for the 2020. Interesting. Yeah, just do nothing. I wonder if they even have removal for a Maverick Lage or just try to target the combo with things like Wasteland. I'm not too sure what Blue-Red Delve is really packing these days in the sideboard. I should. I definitely should know. But I don't. And did I... No, I kept in... Did I keep in Safekeeper there? Surely I did. Because in hindsight, Safekeeper is just a 1/1 creature. Is really good to make sure they have to deal with it before, you know, Ragavan or Dragon Ridge Channeler gets in. Usually play like once Submerge and sometimes Karakas. Yeah. Yes, Jake, very true. Karakas is quite good at saving your own monkey and destroying others. Nice. Definitely an interesting matchup, and probably one where I kind of wish I had more removal in the sideboard, like Path to Exile. I definitely could consider that. Maybe even taking out something like the Torpor Orbs. Orbs are fine, and they seem really good, but I haven't really played against too much outside of Alurin and some Doomsday that Torpor Orb's good enough against. I think Path is still fine against those decks. Not Doomsday, of course, but some of the decks where I do want to Torpor Orb against creature-based decks. Okay. Probably a Mull. It has the combo, it has the mana for it, but otherwise I'm not really doing a whole lot. This is better, but it doesn't have green, which is really tough. Pretty happy to go to 5. Okay. Keep this, bottom Knight, and probably just Safekeeper. Keep the 3 lands and Prismatic Ending. Not too bad. Volk Pass, interesting. I think if we draw a land here, I'm happy just to Wasteland this Volk. We don't. Huh. Okay. Probably still happy just to Wasteland and upkeep. I have a bit of time. Something like a Dash Ragavan would be really annoying. Stifle. Okay. Well, that's exactly why you want to do it in upkeep as well. I also want to try to get these knights to 4/4s, so drawing like a fetch land would be really nice. Oof. We will use the Prismatic Ending here because swords hit so much more, and the swords can also be played at instant speed. And I'm going to use the Savannah here so they can't take me off white in their turn. Nice. Hey, Night of the Reliquary. Thanks for the follow. I like the name. Very, very cool. Let me know where you're from. If you play Legacy, what you play in Legacy. Library, really nice if we find a land here. Currently no pressure on the board, which is fantastic. We have a removal spell with this Plains. Saga's pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. Yuck. Okay. Hey, Knight. A huge thank you for the tier 1 sub. Too kind. Too kind. I guess we do have the combo just to, like, slowly draw into. Could also play a Knight here as a 4/4, but I think just passing is fine. It's tough, though, because they get to, like, make a 2/2 and then get Retrofit a Foundry. Actually, I'm just going to play the Library and try to maybe dig out of this. I feel like Library out of Counter Magic is a little bit harder for them to maybe deal with in Game 1. Oh, it's Cold from the Pit? Very cool. Too kind. Nice. A huge congrats to you guys on the Pit Open. It looked amazing. It was so good just to watch in bed on a Sunday. Watch the top 8 go. But yeah, you guys killed it. How did you go at the event? Three foreign Saga lands. That's cool. What color lands? Is Saga lands always like Naya or just green red? Or Bant? Red green. Cool. Nice. Stayed in bed all day Sunday and watched it start to finish. Nice, Moses. Yeah, it's pretty sweet to have. I remember like doing that with like the Old Star City or Channel Fireball events. It's pretty sweet. Unfortunately, just a little bit slow from us. Like another standstill here would just be really, really bad. Or a prismatic ending. Should have definitely gone after the construct as well, but I think this is just going to be, unfortunately, game. I guess we could find Thespian Stage here. I'll play if we find Thespian Stage. We don't, but we can at least try to get a Knight into play as a 4/4. Okay. Interesting deck. Let's go with probably some amount of these. I could see Moxes going out and Libraries. Maybe even some amount of Crops. Yeah. There is a need for a Green White Depths Bingo card. I've been really slack with the Bingo card as of late. But there are some really cool things you can do with the deck, so I think a Bingo card would be right up its alley. Mull definitely hurt there. I think if I mull with this deck, I'm really looking for Sylvan Library. Maybe Oof isn't needed. I'm gonna go for a Crop. Oof only really hits Retrofitter. Maybe like Map as well, but I think we have better cards. Especially seeing we have Force of Vigor. Pretty happy to try to hit a lot of those cards before they come threats, like Urza's Saga as well. Yeah, copying opponent's Saga is really cool. Big fan of that. Turn 1 Reclaimer, turn 2 Library is what I'm really looking for. Maybe I actually will bring in an extra library and take out a crop. I don't mind this. Standstill a huge one. Maybe the opener wasn't the worst, if I did know it was Standstill. But it's just tough keeping those ones. Alright. This is one piece of the combo with Yavimaya, which is interesting. Okay. All lands isn't really where I want to be, especially with Dried Arbor. Alright, well, we're keeping this, and I think I'm just bottoming the Yavimaya. Okay. Sure. At least if they stand still next turn, we have Dried Upper and Safekeeper dealing 2 a turn. We have Wasteland for a Saga. Saga Standstill is probably what I'm happy to see. Interesting, just a pass. I wonder if they have a Stifle. If so, I'd rather see if I could draw into Yavimaya to then tap the fetch land for mana instead. Wasteland. Oh, maybe they brought in like Containment Priest. Yikes. This is actually not too bad because we still have the choke that might get down. Sure. Oh, I tapped wrong. I tapped wrong. Sorry, guys. Terrible. 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 Useless. Hey, Zaka, thanks for the follow. And Andrew, thanks for the follow. Hope you're both well. Let me know where you're from. If you play Legacy, what do you play in Legacy? Yeah, the focus isn't there in this game. Maybe the attack there was greedy. Pretty happy to hit this with the trigger on the stack. So they can't tap it for mana. No in-step removal spell is interesting. But with 5 cards in hand, surely Prismatic Ending's there, yeah. Okay. I do want to save it for Saga. That's definitely tempting. I actually am going to try to go for it here. Fine Force, rough. Damn, Money Man, a huge thank you for the tier 1 subs. Too kind. Too kind. A huge thank you. It's pretty good. Welcome all. Welcome. Yeah. This is... yeah. It's probably game, unfortunately. Guess we can wait and see. We do have the combo to wait to get into, to draw into. Too kind, Money Man. Thank you very much. They're missing land drops, which is fantastic. Happy to just hit this now. Swords. Nice. I am just going to copy this right now. Just to play around Wasteland a little bit. I can copy Maze down the line as well, which is nice. Oh, they're going to play Saga. Loma Boy, too kind. Too kind. A huge thank you. That means a hell of a lot. So I think here we just let this slide, right? Gets 2. Yep. Play Dried Arbor. Might as well make a construct right now. I feel like maybe there's a better thing to do with stage. Maybe I should have copied something of mine. Too kind. Too kind. They make another construct. I assume they might just get Needle here. But they have to name... it's interesting. I'm not too sure what they have to name. Is it Saga or Thespian Stage? I think it's Saga. So my other line there was actually copying Savannah instead of using Urza's ability. They could also just get Wasteland here. They get Retrofitter. Okay. That's going to be fine. It's like 2 minutes delay between your camera and your audio. Oh, really? Interesting. Yeah, now I think what I want to do is just... I've screwed it up before. I've gone to main phase and allowed this to tick up. So I think here I actually just want to target Savannah. Let it tick up. So let it tick up, and now I want to copy the forest. And now it keeps that ability, I think. Yeah, no diamond. I think in this sort of matchup, I just can't afford the top deck of diamond. But I think sadly, these constructs just go so wide, especially with the retrofitter. But maybe I can end step double swords, because it looks like they're going to have to start discarding anyway. At least they're up at 8 cards, so not too much they can do here, hopefully. We didn't bring an oof, just because I didn't think it was going to be that big of a deal with Retrofitter Foundry. I thought we could, you know, draw into maybe one of our 2 Force of Vigors before it got to this, but obviously not. We don't have Knight of Autumn either. I'm not too sure if the Infinite Saga should be enough. I guess we'll find out. Crop's actually pretty nice. I don't mind just holding up Crop here. I guess I could also do it now while they don't have just hardcast Force of Will up. They can make infinite jump blockers with the Foundry, but hopefully that's okay. Hopefully we can draw into the other prismatic ending. But yeah, maybe Oof just should be in the deck as a one-off post board just because of Foundry can get to this stage, but it is turn 16. I just thought I would have another answer. So with 4 mana... Interesting. Can they make a flying dude here? I wonder why there's such a chat delay. I'll have to look into that after this match. I feel like maybe I should have made it in response to the Ponder to play around Wasteland, but then I'm not playing around like Teferi or like Prismatic Ending. Swords isn't too bad because it gives us a huge buffer. What are they with the Ponder? Chose to not shuffle. Needle. I assume they know that they should name Forest here. I'm gonna make a construct. Tough one though. I kind of hope they name Thespian Stage, but I think they know they should name Forest. Oh, they don't? Interesting. So because this is a copy of Forest, they actually only hit following Thespian Stage, which is pretty interesting. That's fine. Hey Min, a huge thank you for coming in and watching. Can't wait for your explainer on stream setups. That'd be really cool. Really want to make sure I can yeah, upgrade the quality of mine for sure. Pyroclasm, that's pretty good. Oh, I should have used the green there. Little misplays. Because now we don't have enough mana to actually... And I should use Maze, yeah. Let's just move on. A lot of things I could have done differently in that league. But chat's here. Chat is here. I'm very excited for that. Ugh. Just recorded it, actually? Very cool. That's awesome. I definitely want to take some time... I spent some time last night in Stream Elements just doing up a few new overlays, but... and I also went back to OBS, not Streamlabs OBS, which is really cool to be in. Yeah, some cool interactions that game at least. But yeah, maybe some sideboarding for me, but yeah, the forces would have been really nice to find. It was a pretty fun game, let's be honest. But yeah, just... At least we can finish this 3-2. Be pretty cool. I think I have a lot to learn when it comes to, especially the Delver matchup, and knowing how patient to be with Reclaimer. Because there's a huge bonus of playing Reclaimer as a 3-4 and taking the time to play around Bolt. But obviously you can't always do that if your opponent has a pretty aggressive start with their sort of creature side of the deck. Hey Evil. Yeah, I was running the Snowland because I was running Field of the Dead. And then I thought there was really no reason not to run the Snow. Because yeah, you can do things like if you play a Misty Rainforest as like a 5th fetch land, then you can, you know, maybe sometimes show off that you might be an Ice Fang deck. You could also make your like Bant or mid-range opponent believe that you might be playing Field, which might make them You know, maybe like not use a wasteland straight away and save it for a field, which is cool. Haha, sorry, Vegeta. Hey, well, yeah, I believe it's the 16th that we said Loma Boy is going to come on and we're going to play some leagues. I believe he's put together a Urza's Saga Green White Maverick list, which is cool. But I'd be keen to even, if we can, double up and go with a Bant Depths League as well. That'd be very cool if we could do back-to-back. You have lots of lists. I know you have lots of lists. Very cool. Nice, that's awesome. Very cool to hear. Rough. But yeah, I'm not too sure with MTGO. When you want to make your second Urza's Saga token before Urza's Saga goes to 3 counters, do you have to put in a special stop? Or do you just have to do it in your draw step or upkeep and not before your main phase? Hey Jack, welcome. Just don't yield to the trigger? Okay. It just happens in main phase. Okay. You can do it in response to the trigger. Cool, okay. I feel like a few times I've been caught out where I haven't been able to make it in response to it ticking up and I've let it tick up. It basically works the best way possible. Okay, there we go. Very cool. Very nice. Too kind. You get the most information before deciding. Cool, okay. I think maybe even there, it might have been a punt to make my construct when they named Thespian Stage with the needle and just put them in a position where, you know, make the mistake of naming Thespian Stage instead of Forest, and then end step to play around Prismatic Ending, make the 2020 and swing. Sometimes it's better to float mana depending on your draw. Yeah, okay. You can get a counter faster if you copy Saga in your upkeep for the... Ah, interesting, okay. Huh. Especially with map, yes, correct. Okay. Up against... Ah, doggy. Yeah, the Saga's cool. I think I will have a look into it. I think I was a little bit ignorant to Saga in Green White Depths. And I should definitely open up my mind. Fajita? Not Vegeta? Nice. Okay, thank you very much. An interesting hand. I actually don't mind it. We can get a pretty early Reclaimer if we turn 1 Wasteland, turn 2 Mox, and then Windswept. Means we have a 3-4 Reclaimer. Definitely one of those weird hands, but I think I'm okay with it. Vegeta is a Dragon Ball Z character, and the most powerful as well. Swords. I think I'm actually pretty happy just to go fetch pass. That means we can play around Bolt on Reclaimer to some extent. I also don't need to show the Mox Diamond yet either. Like if I draw a second Depths, I might just want to discard that to Mox. If I really thought they're going to be a Ragavan deck, I could potentially play Maze, play Mox. And then hold up Swords and Maze. They're going to go for basics. Okay. Probably Sneak, unfortunately. Oh, okay. Pretty happy to try to snag that. Library. That's pretty nice as well. Maybe I actually like library here to dig. I'm happy to waste on an upkeep. We did get stifled before, and we did do upkeep, so just best practice. I'd love to see another Volk. Oh, planes. Okay. Preordain into these colors. That's interesting. Sure. Knight. Can't cast it currently, but that's okay. Yeah, it might be like a Jeskai Miracles list. Just playing Preordain. Force Pitch Fire Ice. Okay, it's going to be a really controlling deck. I'm going to play the Dark Depths then. Turns on Thespian Stage as a live draw. Turns on Crop as not a live draw. But turning on stage is pretty nice. Shelldock Isle? Interesting. This is Shift. Okay. Interesting. Did not think I'd be playing against this today. It's pretty nice. They currently only have 2 colors. So on board they can't Prismatic Ending the Knight. But who knows, maybe they can just win this turn. I'm assuming it's Shift into Thassa's Oracle. Which, I mean, if they miss a land drop here, I'm pretty happy to go for Wasteland on the Shelldock instead of going for the combo. Shift, okay. I assume it puts the graveyard into the library and the library into the graveyard. Another Shelldock, but it's going to become tapped. Just don't bog them? Yeah. Library into exile, okay. But I'll let them Shelldock. Alright. Wasteland would be sweet. Or like crop rotation? No. It might just be hold up combo and get there. Yeah. Seven cards in the deck. Sug is going to be okay. Stage. Two cards in my opponent's hand. Rough. I'm just gonna take out this shell dock right now. This is fine, because we still have the swords to deal with the Urza Saga, which puts them to 9, and then the knight hopefully kills them. They also can't prismatic ending here, which is nice because of the saga. And if they don't find a land, then they can't actually make the token with Urza Saga. They chose not to shuffle. Okay. Maybe their plan is to try to like block with the Urza Saga token. Oof. I believe we wastelanded on the Volk, yeah. Sure. They have 2 cards left. Nice. Very cool. Whew. Okay. This seems like a game for Torporob. Force is definitely interesting. I don't mind these. Maybe not the deafening silences, but maybe just to slow them down enough. I could see like playing Force instead of swords. I'll take out the Moxes. Endurance when they shift? Ah, interesting. That's actually pretty cool. Yeah, I might just do a little trim. Endurance is also very good versus Oracle, that's correct. A little bit slow. I'm gonna mulligan. This is better. We also have the endurance. I think the bog I'm pretty happy to drop here. But I also want to make my land drops. It might just be knight. Yeah, because we already have the reclaimer, which pretty much acts like that in any way. Peak. Okay. Interesting. This also means if silence is in play, they can't shift and hold up force because of the deafening silence, which makes endurance even better. You clicked away and missed peaked. Legacy All-Star. Yeah, I guess when you kind of need that sort of effect, it's not the worst. 1 mana draw a card. At least it replaces itself. Deafening silence. Okay. Stage. I wonder if I just want to bog them down so I have endurance up the following turn if I really need it. Also allows me to prismatic ending next turn for 3 if they have something like Teferi. So I think I will use this preemptively. I assume they will have an Emrakul in the deck, just because of how it plays out with that card. Ponder's going to be fine. I could just copy the Saga here. That's kind of nice. Or I could hold up Endurance. Maybe I actually want to hold up Endurance to play around, like, shift into Oracle. But then it's tough, because if they don't really do anything, then we just kind of passing. Ramming up's actually nice because that means we can use Thespian Stage. I guess it's just that good. Maybe it's getting... Yeah, I can't think of an artifact that actually makes sense in the deck. Interesting to say the least. Oh, Relic's pretty cool, yeah. Needle. Alright, should they name Saga or Thespian Stage? They name Saga. Nice opponent. I guess we do have prismatic ending for it, which is nice. So we can ending it and then hold up Dried Arbor and Ramanap, which is kind of nice. So I do want to draw a green card here. Just to hold up our endurance as well. That works. So I guess we're just passing with the combo up. I do need to use the ending. Yeah, I wonder if they counter this. I probably actually just want to play the Ramanap. Okay. Ending thankfully does it, yeah. So at least if they like cast a Ponder or a Brainstorm here, we're in the clear, which makes it pretty awkward for my opponent. So we take this. Oh wow, that's huge. I guess they can bounce the Deafening Silence and still have like a Swords to Plowshares, but I'm still pretty happy to crop here. Oh no, they've already cast one spell a turn. This is just it, right? Yeah. Oh no, because they can bounce the Deafening Silence and still have swords. Yes, okay, all good. Well, they have to bounce the Deafening Silence here. Oh, they returned that instead. Oh, no opponent. Because now they can't draw a card. And we get to get the 20/20 here, right? And they've already played a land, so they can't have, like... I guess they could swords in my turn. But they don't get to draw off it. They have to have swords for my turn. And even then, we get to play Ramanap, get back lands. It's pretty good. Yeah, rough. Rough opponent. Pretty tough spot, I guess. Maybe they just didn't have an out. I think the best out then is still just bounce the Deafening Silence, because then I can't bounce it. They definitely draw a card, and then they can also cast Swords to Plowshares in that same turn, or Prismatic Ending. I guess, yeah, because they can cast it at sorcery speed. No, they can't. They have to tick up the Teferi. All in all, pretty cool. Probably some changes that I could make to the deck. I do like its consistency. Torpor Orb wasn't really used. I could probably play something like Path to Exile, which would be a little bit better against some of the decks we played. I could also think about a Saga list where I cut some of the cards that we're playing. The issue is that Maze of Ith is probably a card I would cut for Sagas, but Maze was really good this league, which is tough. I think it just takes like a whole different build to play Urza's Saga and some amount of targets like Retrofitter and maybe like Shadow Spear. But I felt like this deck did okay. It's really fun. Definitely say that. There were some very cool, yeah, very cool games. Even the losses, there were some really cool interactions, which is nice. But yeah, I know that like Tagores plays Saga. There's a few lists definitely running around with Saga. I was also looking at all the data from Legacy Pit Open. There was 13 decks that played Greenlight Depths. One playing a Black Splash, but yeah, pretty sweet. That's going to be it for me. A huge thank you to the new followers and the new subscribers, especially to Another Reliquary, and especially to Mining Man and Loma Boy for the gifted subs. A huge thank you. I'll be back pretty soon. Probably on Thursday night, as usual. But you guys are more than welcome. If you want to catch all my streams and recorded games, you can find them on YouTube. You can also find me on Twitter. I will have a giveaway coming up. I think it's going to be a foil night from the Old Border. So if you are a follower of the channel, of my Twitter, and of my YouTube, you will be in the running for that, which is pretty cool. And I think I might announce the winner on Thursday night. I'm going to see who else is quickly streaming and send you guys over there. It looks like the pit is, which is nice. I also have some friends over at Scoop and Response, but actually is where I'm going to play some Magic right now. So I'm going to see if I can actually raid them, which would be pretty cool. So this is going to work. A huge thank you. We'll see you next time. Enjoy your weekend, stay safe, and yeah, keep playing fair Magic. Thanks.